Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Recently, I just saw Batman 1989 through Fathom Events for the first time in theaters, and since it's Batman's 80th anniversary, I thought I'd go over each film of the Batman Anthology. You can check out my previous videos here on my channel, but out of all the Batman movies I reviewed and had recollection of, I've never gone over fully Batman and Robin from 1997. So what killed the dinosaur? The Ice Age! Yes, Batman and Robin was the last film that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for the Batman franchise for 8 long years. I remember this. This film is not a good film. It's actually a pile of crap if you look at it as a Batman film. However, without this film, we would never have had the Dark Knight trilogy. So it's like that Watchmen scenario of something bad happening leading to something great or good. And that's kind of how I feel about Batman and Robin. I remember when I saw this, I actually went with my dad. We went to go see it at the theater, and Duncan Sheik's Barely Breathing was playing on the radio. I don't know why I remember that. Such a 90s song, but even as a child, I knew something was wrong with this movie. My dad knew something was wrong with this movie. This wasn't Batman Forever, but Batman Forever did have a lot of the same issues this film had. The only difference is that Tim Burton was no longer a producer. So this had no edge. It was pure camp. And Chris O'Donnell said it best in the special features in 2005. He said, the first film they did, which was Batman Forever, he felt like he was making a film. This film, he felt like he was making a toy commercial. And if anything, Arnold Schwarzenegger makes this film as Mr. Freeze, just for the ice puns alone. And then we have Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, and then Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Now, Uma Thurman's a great actress, but I thought she was terribly, terribly miscast here. And she kind of gives a hammy, kind of campy performance, and not in a good way. Very cringeworthy. But the biggest offense of this movie is George Clooney as Batman. Sure, he was coming out of ER, but he's no Seth Gecko from Dusk Till Dawn in this. No. He feels like he's somebody who doesn't care about the role. He doesn't put any effort whatsoever. You watch Batman, he's just like, hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. And there's no differentiation between Bruce Wayne and Batman. And I know what they were going for. They didn't want Batman, Bruce Wayne, to be tormented by the death of his parents and wanted a more light approach of Batman, which is good. But even Adam West gave a performance that was better than George Clooney's. Adam West, you could tell, was two different people. George Clooney just has like a bobbling head. He's like talking. And he's like, it's my way or the highway, dick, and all this stuff. The worst thing, too, is that they make Chris O'Donnell as Robin a whiny brat. He was kind of whiny in Batman Forever, but they really double down here, and it's not done in a very good way. But pretty much it involves them going after Mr. Freeze, who's trying to steal these diamonds, a ransom for a ransom, so to speak, to basically help his wife, Nora Freeze. He suffered an accident that caused him to look the way he does. Meanwhile, Poison Ivy kind of goes through a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman scenario of her boss, like killing her after her finding something out, and then all of a sudden is with like this really horrible incarnation of Bane, and together they basically team up to go after Batman and Robin. And of course, Poison Ivy has her own interests over Mr. Freeze's, but that's pretty much the gist of it. And then in the process of this film, Dick Grayson kind of becomes infatuated with Poison Ivy, becomes jealous of Batman, and wants to go into his own shadow. So there's a rift between Batman and Robin here. And then we have Alicia Silverstone play Alfred's niece instead of Commissioner Gordon's daughter. So it's not Barbara Gordon. It's Barbara Wilson. It's like Alfred's niece. So it's not the Barbara Gordon we know, which is kind of bad because I'm like, even the Adam West show had it as the commissioner's daughter. That's where Batgirl is introduced. However, I don't think Alicia Silverstone does that bad of a job. This is right after Clueless. And yeah, if anything, I think George Clooney was probably the only one unscathed from this film. Everybody's career in the 90s just took a stall, and then Batman took a stall. Overall, it has the same visual style and music of Batman Forever. It's just a bit lighter. this really goes full camp. If the Forever film was more like the 1940s, this is more like the 1960s and just really bad. Everything was made for a toy. I remember when this came out, you had Taco Bell toys, and a lot of the promotional tie-ins was actually from the animated series. You had the other film Sub-Zero, what was supposed to come out and coincide with this film, but because of the failure of this film, that film was postponed, and that was a much better film than this film. But I think Arnold actually could have done a really good job. He has moments that show a much more complex character. There's this great scene where Bruce Wayne, Batman just captured Mr. Freeze halfway through the film, and Bruce Wayne figures out that Alfred is sick. He's basically dying. And they're talking. It's like, what is Batman but a crusade to stop death? And then Bruce Wayne's just like, but I can't, can I? And Alfred's like, none of us can. And there's a flashback to like when Alfred was basically raising Bruce Wayne after his parents were just shot. Such a heartfelt scene that should belong in a better movie. Like, this movie had some heart to it. And I wonder what would have happened if Joel Schumacher got to make the dark movie he wanted to make. He originally wanted to go do an adaptation of Batman Year One. And there was supposed to be a sequel called Batman Continuation and Batman Triumphant. Different titles were going around. You're either going to have Harley Quinn as like the Joker's daughter with like flashbacks of Jack Nicholson, and like Scarecrow's the villain. You had Nicolas Cage, Jeff Goldblum, different names thrown around there. It would have been interesting, but I'm kind of glad they ended it here, you know. Even Robin, to a degree, he has like a red emblem of Nightwing. Yeah, it's before New 52, but if anything, this film has an amazing soundtrack. The soundtrack really makes it with the Smashing Pumpkins, Goo Goo Dolls, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yeah, I love the soundtrack to this. Soundtrack to this is amazing. And it is a fun film if you want to watch it with your kid or whatever. It's that campy kind of like turn off your brain type of movie. But there are some better moments, and the way it's shot is just, you could tell they rushed this. This was only 2 years after Batman Forever. They didn't have enough time. It's just like right out of the gate. Val Kilmer did not return because he was busy making The Saint, as well as probably some behind-the-scenes issues, but I really miss Val Kilmer. George Clooney, I think, is like the worst Batman. I know he's very popular. Some of the women love him, but I think he's just shit in this film. If anything, watch it for Arnold. Plus, you have Pat Hingle and Michael Gough play Alfred and Commissioner Gordon in all 4 films. It's just hard to imagine that it went from Batman 89 to Batman and Robin. But if I had to give it a score as a Batman film, a 1 out of 5. This is just crap at its finest form. But as a film, I've kind of grown warmer to it, so I give it a 2 out of 5. And then overall, a DF score. It's just not a good movie. It's like a 90s superhero movie where they don't take it seriously. It's too campy. It's a caricature of Batman. And they even continue the nipples on the suit and the ass shots and stuff, and it's just, why? Why? There's a reason why there wasn't Batman for 8 years, and thank God. The only saving grace besides the soundtrack for this film is that it paved the way for Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Anyway, those are just my brief thoughts and reflection on Batman and Robin. Some people may be more fond of this film than I am, but as a Batman fan, even as a kid, this movie made me mad. I was just like, yeah, this is crap. Anyways, I digress. Feel free to follow me on the Stardust app at Fred Film Fanatic and share your memories of Batman and Robin down below in the comments. I would like to hear them. I remember the Lost in Space trailer on the VHS. Yeah. And Anastasia. Anyway, feel free to let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to watch these other Batman videos on my channel. And yeah, I'm going to be having some more Batman videos with each coming week for the 80th anniversary. And stay tuned for my Spider-Man reviews in preparation for Far From Home. Till next time.